I've got 4 questions for you to answer that'll help you be positioned in front of your audience as the one to buy from. And it all comes down to perspective because your audience doesn't buy your offer. They buy your perspective, the way that you help them get the result. Because you aren't the only person that is good at what you do and can help your audience get a result or create a transformation in their life. But you are the only one that has a unique perspective and experience and expertise that they will align with. This is a concept I've had proven to me time and time again. Anytime that I get a testimonial or a feedback for any of my offers, they all come back saying something along the lines of, it was your approach, it was your framework, it was the way that you helped me to achieve the results is why I bought from you. Because everyone is selling the same end result, the same destination. But it's all about, well, what route will you take me on in order to get there? So let's actually clarify what are these 4 questions that's going to help you to improve your perspective so that it cuts through the noise in the marketplace. And I want you to think about your perspective as a knife. The clearer it is, the sharper it will be to cut through the noise in the marketplace and into the hearts of your ideal clients. So, what are these 4 questions? And I want you to answer these in detail. Okay, don't just think of the very first thing, write down the very first thing, but then go back and consistently refine these questions because this truly is the answer to your clarity in your perspective. So the first one is, what has your experience or expertise taught you that the industry doesn't talk about? Your experience and your expertise is your perspective. Now, when it comes to business, I have a personal experience and expertise around this one concept here, and that is it is easy to learn what to do, but it's not as easy to become the person who can do it. And there's a lot of people that can teach you what to do. But as you can see, a lot of my videos also help you to become the person who can do it. Now, this is something that isn't always talked about in the industry. And it's not always the coolest thing or the sexiest thing to talk about because everyone just wants the destination. Everyone wants to get to Fiji or Hawaii or wherever your plane is wanting to take you. But it's all about, are you the person who can fly the plane in order to get there? So I will often talk so much about the unsexy parts of entrepreneurship, just like me giving you these 4 questions. It's not just the what to do, but this is actually helping you on who to become. And this is for you to become someone who has a clarified perspective. Our ability to create really clear content, really compelling content that really pulls the audience in, that makes them feel that desire inside to buy, comes down to your clarity of thinking, your clarity of thinking. The clearer you can think, then the clearer you can put your ideas out there. So when you think about what your experience and your expertise has taught you, I want you to really sit with this question and think about all the nooks and crannies and all of the nuances that it has taught you. So I just remember back in 2014 when I first started on my entrepreneurial journey, I had learned what to do and I started making money, even more money than I was making in my physical therapy career. I honestly was 1 year out from working as a physical therapist and I woke up one day and I was like, this cannot be my life. God gave me a feeling in my heart as a little girl and I thought to myself, I'm going to feel really good when I'm doing work in this world. But after 1 year of being a practicing clinician, I was like, I don't have that feeling. This isn't how God told me I was going to feel. And that started my entire entrepreneurial journey by going to this event in 2014 where I learned all about the interwebs and all of the ways that you can make money online. And so I very quickly learned what to do. But what I didn't know was how to become the person. And so we will never act inconsistent with the way that we can't see ourselves. So I saw myself as somebody who can do something and do something hard, but I still had some belief systems that were holding me back and holding me down. So even though I was able to create certain levels of success, even making more money many months than I was in my physical therapy job, those belief systems very humbly brought me back down where I couldn't hold on to any of the money that I was making at that time. And so even though I was able to kind of outpace my identity for a short period of time, I wasn't able to grow any faster or farther than what I really saw myself as. And so I really want you all to understand that when I talk about that, that's really unsexy. It's not the things people want to hear. They want to hear like how to win all the time. But the truth of the matter is it's in these losses that we actually learn the most. And so this is my third business. I've had multiple pivots and now my expertise lends a different kind of perspective. So how I shape business within my YouTube videos or when I'm working with my clients is a little bit different than just the what to do. I understand the nooks and crannies of what belief systems are up ahead that might be holding you back that you're in right now that isn't allowing you to grow. So that is what my experience has taught me. So I want you to do the same thing for your audience and for your experience. Okay. Number 2, what truths do you deeply believe that others tiptoe around? I can use the same example here. Nobody wants to talk about the losses or the hard part or just the feeling of like, will this ever work for me? But those are the questions that I answer. Those are the emotional edges that I help to smooth out here in my video, showing you a different perspective. And so that is a truth that you can do it. That is a belief that you can do it, but I'm helping you to shape with a different perspective. And it's not just around another strategy or another tactic. I'm helping you to shift your internal belief and your identity with how you see yourself because we can only get our identity from one source, and that is the ultimate source above. And so once you start doing that, then business and life becomes so much easier. So saying what is popular might get you the views, but saying what is true is going to bring in the clients. And this is so important because we can often kind of wrestle with on the inside on what do I say in my content to get people to buy? The truth of the matter is, people aren't going to buy because of what you say. They're going to buy because of how you make them feel. And it's your perspective that is going to make them feel a certain way. So we don't want to fall into the trap of just saying what everybody else is saying or saying what just sounds good. Because let's be honest, your audience can tell if there is something that you aren't saying. Have you ever asked a kid to tell you a full story because they got in trouble and you're like, all right, tell me the story about what Johnny did? And they kind of tell you the story, but some parts of it you're like, I don't think you're quite telling me the whole truth. You're not saying they're lying, but there's something in you that's like, that's just not the full story. And you don't even have to be a parent to even know what I'm talking about. It's like someone is telling you something, but you can feel like they're holding back. You can feel like there's just something that they aren't saying. Your audience can feel everything that you aren't saying when you are creating your content. Whether you are creating blogs or articles or creating videos, they can always feel that. So it's so essential for you to bring the truth of what you deeply believe because that is a really essential piece of cutting through the noise that is truly going to make your audience feel it in their heart that you're the one to buy from because they're going to feel seen, heard, and understood. Okay, number 3. What do you know and believe is required for the transformation you help people with? Now, this is the sauce. Like, this is the sauce. This is your perspective on the steps that your audience needs to take in order to get the result, in order to get their transformation. And when I say this is the sauce, it is your perspective that makes them feel something, and you get your perspective not only from the other questions that I asked you, but this question in particular, because this perspective is the steps. What is it you believe that they need in order to achieve results? I can tell you one of my beliefs and knowingness is you need levels of embodiment. You can't just know that you know how to help people. You have to be able to feel it in your bones. You have to be able to feel convicted in your ability to help somebody get a result. Because if you can't feel it in your bones, you're going to have difficulty charging higher prices. People are going to say to you, "Oh, that's too high," and then you're going to want to feel like you want to lower your prices. But that's not the thing to do. It's to just understand, hey, that person is not an aligned client. That person isn't for me, or I'm not for them, or, what have you. And so when you feel convicted, then it doesn't matter who says no. And it doesn't matter who says your prices are too high or I'm going to go work with another person. None of that actually matters because you're so convicted in your ability to help someone get a result. And when you're convicted that you can help somebody, then you're going to talk and write with a level of posture in your content. And that level of posture is certainty. And certainty with your perspective is what sells because people want clarity. They want certainty that you're going to take them to their destination. Are you going to hold my hand and walk me across the bridge so I don't fall into the water that's underneath? So what you're doing is you're shaping your perspective, or I should say their perspective of what it's like on the other side of the bridge. And it's your steps. It's what you believe is going to help them, get across the bridge that they are buying into. So you have to really understand what it is you believe because that's what you're anchoring into. And if you have a hard time knowing what you believe, then you're not transferring any certainty of energy within your content. And that's what people are buying. Okay, number 4. What have you overcome that shaped how you show up today? What are your challenges? What are those pivotal moments that shaped everything? Those are the stories that now become a way for you to teach the lesson so that you can help shape the perspective of your audience. I will consistently share the story of waking up one day really thinking like, this cannot be my life. That was a decision-making pivotal moment in my life to start on this entrepreneurial journey. That was back in 2014. And so to just think about the challenges that I've overcome, even the business pivots that I've made along the way, there were many challenges. I've invested at this point hundreds of thousands of dollars on coaches and training and events. And it is my experience and my expertise and these various stories that I've had that allows me to share with you a perspective that comes from a lens of a person who has a doctorate degree, thought I was going to be a physical therapist for the rest of my life, thought I was going to open up a private practice and treat patients for forever. And then I was like, this isn't it. I thought I was signing up for a different life. And when I got to the end of this degree and I was like, this just isn't it. And it's that feeling inside that was a turning point to step into my entrepreneurial realm. And I've never looked back. I've always been on this entrepreneurial journey. And even though things get hard, I've never felt like I wanted to throw in the towel. I don't have a I want to give up bone in my body. And I have my dad to thank for that. He's definitely planted a seed. He used to come home and I'd say, Dad, how was your day? And he'd be like, I had a great day. My dad always had a great day. I've never heard my dad say he had a bad day. And I reflect on this, but now that I'm saying this out loud, I'm like, he's never had a bad day. But he did used to tell me, Siobhan, it doesn't matter what you do, but you've got to be your own boss. And so that kind of seed was already planted. So when things get hard in this entrepreneurial journey, because it will, I don't have that I want to give up bone in my body or I want to throw in the towel because of the seed that was planted in me. And I'm so grateful. So as I share this, I'm giving you perspective. I'm giving you pivotal turning points in my life because I know that you have a turning point in your life where you woke up one day and was like, this can't be it. There's no way that I can be stuck working at this job for forever. There's so much more out there. I felt like there was more in me, and there is, because God places a desire for us to want more. And I know that you're the same way. So these stories become lessons. And this is how you shape the perspective of your audience. And when you can be the person that molds your audience, gives them a new perspective to look at their life, their problem, and really give them the hope that there is a result waiting for them, that they are somebody who can even achieve that result. Because many people think, I've tried it all. They think, man, I really want to reach a certain destination. I really want to get a certain result. And they think they've tried it all, but they haven't tried it all because they haven't met you. If they haven't met you, then that means that they haven't tried it all. So they are waiting for your perspective. They are waiting for you to deliver in your content a different way for them to see what challenge or obstacle they're going through so that they can see themselves winning in your content and going, I can be that person. I can be the person who also wins. And when you're the one that can deliver that kind of perspective, not just in their head, but in their heart, now they want to buy. Now you're positioned as the person to buy from. They are compelled. And it wasn't the words that you said, it was the words of how you made them feel that really pulled them in as to why they buy. So this is the first part of my framework on helping you really get clear on your perspective. But I also have a training called Cut Through the Noise, which is the other component of my framework. So that way you can truly cut through the noise and be positioned in the marketplace as the one to buy from. I will drop that training down in the comment section. But I'd love to have you answer a question here that one of these four, drop it in the comments and let me know. How is it that you want to clarify your perspective? Maybe you have a story you want to share, put in the comments. Maybe you have a belief system that the industry needs to really know about that you don't hear talked about. Share with us in the comments and make that your declaration to be the person that is going to deliver clarity to your audience. I pray that this video serves you and blesses you, and I will see you all in another video. Bye.